Hello everyone, it's me Uncle John. Today I am going to read step by step Unit 5, Write a Story, Personal Narrative. 사적인 이야기, Parts of a Story, Cause and Effect Words, Writing Convention Reported versus Direct Speech. Page 60. Reading A, discuss. B, read. Read a personal narrative. Today was not a typical day for Jennifer and Nathan's mother, Mrs. Lee. It was difficult and frustrating. In the morning, she was late for her job as an office assistant. In the afternoon, her boss got angry with her. Now she is exhausted. Mrs. Lee is happy that most days are different. At 7 a.m., Mrs. Lee got up as usual. She took a shower and made breakfast for the family. After breakfast, she got ready for work. When Jennifer and Nathan went to school at 8, Mrs. Lee left for work. She walked to her bus stop and waited and waited. Finally, the bus came, but it was 20 minutes late. Then, on the way downtown, the bus broke down. As a result, everybody got off and waited for another bus. When Mrs. Lee thought about the time, she became really nervous. Finally, she took a taxi to her office because she was very late. When her boss saw her, he wasn't very happy. Mrs. Lee worked hard all morning. However, Mrs. Lee forgot to mail an important letter because she had a bad morning. When her boss found the letter, he was very angry. Mrs. Lee felt terrible, so she had a bad afternoon too. Late that evening, Mrs. Lee took the bus home. She was exhausted. When she got home, she told her family about her day. They were very understanding. Her mother said, "Because you're so tired, I'll make dinner. You should relax." Her husband told her that he was sorry she had a bad day. Then he brought her a cold drink. Jennifer and Nathan even said that they would do the dishes after dinner. Mrs. Lee felt much better. She thought to herself, it's good to have a nice family. They can make even a bad day better. Page 62, Vocabulary. Activity A, find each word or phrase in the reading on page 60. Look at the words around it to guess the meaning. Compare your answers with a partner. B, complete the sentences words from the list. Change the verb tenses as needed. C, find the adjectives in the reading. Then write sentences that use them to describe the character's feelings. Page 63, grammar box. Dependent clause, 종속절. Independent clause, 독립절. Complex sentence, 복합 문장, 복문. Because she had to take a taxi. When Mrs. Lee thought about the time, Mrs. Lee was 30 minutes late. She became really nervous. Complex sentences are made of two or more clauses. A clause is a group of words with a subject and a verb. Independent clauses are complete sentences. Dependent clauses are not complete sentences. Writers often join two clauses with words such as because and when. When the dependent clause is at the beginning of the sentence, use a comma after a dependent clause. A. Find formal complex sentences with because or when in the reading on page 60. Copy them on the lines below. Activity B, answer the following questions with the complex sentences that use because or when. Sentence. The boss got angry with Mrs. Lee. Subject, the boss. Object, Mrs. Lee. Object, pronoun, her. New sentence. The boss got angry with her. The subject of a sentence does something to the object. Pronouns take the place of noun. They can also be objects. The object pronouns are me, you, him, her, it, us, and them. C. Answer the following questions with information from the reading on page 60. Replace the object with object pronoun. Writing strategy. Remember, an effect is an event that happens as a result of a cause. Use cause and effect words to signal that one event is the result of another. Use commas after the cause and effect word or phrase. As a result, then, therefore, because. Fill in the cause and effect chart with information from the reading on page 60. Page 65, writing convention. Convention means 규칙, direct versus reported speech. Find two more examples of reported speech in the reading on page 60. Change the reported speech to direct speech. Direct speech gives the actual words that a person said. Put quotation marks where the speaker's words start and end. Put a comma between the quotation and the speaker. Direct quotes always begin with a capital letter. Reported speech tells what someone said. Do not use quotation marks with reported speech. The verb form changes in reported speech. Direct speech. Mrs. Lee said, "I'm sorry." Mrs. Lee said that she was sorry. Parts of a story. Find the beginning, the middle, and the end of the story on page 60. Remember, stories have a beginning, a middle, and an end. The beginning introduces a story and tells about the setting and characters. The middle gives details about the action or plot of the story. The end tells what the story means or why it is important. Personal narrative. A story tells about what happens to characters. Characters are the people in the story. Setting is the time and place of a story. A story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Personal narrations and creative writing are examples of story. Read Abby's personal narration. My first job. Today was my first day at my part-time job. I woke up early. I stayed in bed for a few minutes. I thought about the day. I thought about the movie theater. I thought about my boss, Mrs. Ovar. I was excited and nervous. At 8 a.m., I got out of bed. I showered and got dressed in my new uniform. I felt important in the special shirt and pants. Before I went to the kitchen, I put on my name tag. When my mom saw me, she said, "Good morning, theater employee." My dad told me to